Hello, Eytan. Nice to meet you and see you again.
Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you, and thanks for inviting me over for this interview.
This interview will be in English with Eytan, but in the meantime, I would like to introduce him in Slovak. Všetci, ktorí sa pozeráte, vítajte na tomto interview. Je to video nahrávka s Eytanem Lernerom, ktorý je praktik Feldenkraisovej metódy a Anat Baniel metódy. Chodí po svete a 30 rokov už pracuje s deťmi. Založil spolu so svojimi kolegami Moving Center a venuje sa neuropohybu, neuroregeneratívnym metódam, plasticite mozgu a veľmi úspešne pomáha deťom s DMO, s autizmom, genetickými poruchami. A dnes by som ho rada vyspovedala a zistila jeho názory, aké má v tejto oblasti. So, Eytan, we're switching to English. Is that okay with you? Or would you rather continue in Slovak?
I think I'm learning Slovak slowly, but I think English is preferable for now.
Okay, so let's kick off. You've been working with kids, special needs kids, for a long, long time. So what is the one word or maybe a couple of words that come up for you when you hear a child with special needs?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one word, maybe a few words, but it's a great question. Words that comes to mind immediately are potential. Most of the kids that I met in the past, in most other modalities, the projection of the therapist or the method is more invoking a sense of failure. What I see is a huge potential, just waiting to be discovered, or in most times even discovered by the kid, by the child himself before we meet, because they are intelligent, which is another word. You have to live, you have to find solutions to life's problem, to how to move, how to communicate, how to achieve whatever you want to achieve from the environment. And you don't have most of the usual means, or some of the usual means that other kids have. You have to be intelligent.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That gives us a lot of hope.
Yeah, this is one of the windows through which to communicate. Seeing the potential, seeing the intelligence, attributing the intelligence, and finding the way or the ways to help the child sort of come up to light more, emerge his own self, the identity, the agency, the autonomy.
That's wonderful.
And one other word is challenge. Because they have to deal with lots of challenge, and how you do that in a way that does not create a sense of failure. It's very important.
So for you, it's intelligence, potential, and challenge.
Yeah, and if you ask me in another day, I may come up with other words, but I think these words entailing them, the idea leads me to the thinking and to the approach of how to work with them.
So what are the principles that you apply in your work?
That's another amazing question. What are the principles? First of all, this is why and how we developed actually the neurodevelopmental playfulness approach. I'm considering the whole room, even before I touch the child, the communication, the being in the space. As this came up a lot because I worked a lot with kids on the spectrum. Most of them can enter the room either screaming, running, or just being fascinated with some areas of the room, some corners of the room. So potential learning facility or potential learning environment. And I noticed that the way I approach or wait or create expectation, and then the use of my voice, and along with detecting what they do in the room, is actually already working and changing a lot, creates a lot of changes for them, even before I lay hand on them. The space, the communication, I consider it as part of the lesson, going with the system to a degree in order to help facilitate awareness of how they do what they do or what they do, and then gently in a way that helps use their potential, use their intelligence, and help create a slight different way of doing the same thing.
So
And then
variations?
doing that, it's variations, but it's done in a very playful ways most of the time. And when I say playful, doesn't mean necessarily, playing games. Can be, but it's more the approach of being in a space, in a situation where the child's awake. I see most of it can come up in a playfulness way, meaning creating expectation, breaking the expectation, creating surprises, while touching and with non-touch. Actually, I'm going to have in September over this only student of ABM a talk about this exactly, how to use the non-touch ideas that we've discovered, that I've discovered, and help with the in-person usual, work with the kid. So it's going with the system and then going through variations. I'm looking at them as able. They're able to do. This is another thing. On the one hand, to see the special need, but on the other hand, to overlook it, and to see with the potential what they can do. And I know they can do a lot. Even a child that it looks like it cannot do a lot, they can do a lot. Yeah. If you just, again, enter the conversation in a place where you're not imposing something, but you're really discovering with the child what it is that is, is major thing, or the likes and dislikes, the thing that he's doing best, and the thing that he's doing a little less, but it still can do. So the ability is something that is really important. Looking at limits, using them as a window or a door, not as a
barrier,
final destination. I know they're there. We're not overlooking the limits, but we're looking at ways to create windows or even doors, or sometimes how to bypass them and then go back, see the limitation again, using it as a variation, going beyond it.
Yeah, that's a great reminder to be playful and to stay in this discovery approach.
Yeah, so which is sometimes hard. It's easy to fall trap into the, oh, this is almost happening, let's push a little bit more here. And I'm challenging them, but in a way that is possible. It's a dance, playful dance.
So what are some of the most common changes that you see?
I never know ahead of time, even though you can. You create a way, you develop a way of sensing what may happen, but I'm never gonna say it, but you can see when the process of learning is starting. What I do see, a lot of changes, kids on the spectrum that some of them does not look anymore like they are on the spectrum. It happened to me twice when I worked a few years with them for that. They were like very high functioning to begin with. So language, communication, eye contact, ability, movement-wise functions like walking, crawling, standing, reaching, important. But I'm looking back at what's really important, the emergence or the development of the self, like that you can see that there is more presence, that something, the child is there, regardless of what limitation or challenges he had to begin with, that he's there, he can become an agent of himself, and this is happening a lot. He has his autonomy started to develop.
I'm curious to hear also what impact it has on the parents.
We are at the Moving Center taking a lot of measures, and it's really important for us to communicate with the parents to begin with. We are working also not just with the kid, but with the parent at the same time. So they are part of the observation process. They learn how to observe, become a better observer, a better facilitator, because there's a lot that they can do at home. They are usually well prepared before they start seeing the changes. When they see them, most of them are in the process already, and they see the changes, and then it's part of a natural process that they understand. But of course, they're glad, happy, sometimes frustrated because they want to see more, and then we go back to the starting point of what is a change, how much a small change is important, what's the importance of it for bigger leaps of changes. But overall, yeah, I think a happy, content, and they see the potential of the child being actualized.
Amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been working with kids in Slovakia and the Czech Republic too. You've been coming for a year now. Well, it's once per month or once per 2 months. But what do you find is the optimum frequency of lessons to gain sustainable progress in a child's development?
If there is a possibility, and geographically, I tend to meet each month. First few intensive, but then we see, some kids it's going to be enough. Some kids, it's going to be spaced out more. And some kids stays for many years, If I tell a parents ahead of time, I prepare them for a few months of intensives, once every month and a half.
So from what I hear, it is important to stay in the game and to persist.
Going back to the parents, I equip them with the possibilities of stay connected with the changes with their child in a way that even in between the intensives, which is very important, they keep on, they keep the kindle, they rekindle and kindle the light all the time.
Yeah, and that's 24/7 work.
Yeah, that's 24/7. When you have the awareness in the background, it doesn't mean that you're all the time doing the right thing. We're not talking about the right things, but you see the possibilities of how the child and you as a parent can change even once every few interactions. Oh, I can do this in a different way. Let's try.
You've been doing this work for 30 years, and it requires a lot of focus, a lot of creativity, persistence. How do you personally recharge?
Oh, I love this question because there's so many things that I'm doing. First of all, I always read. I connect many fields to this work, which is, I'm getting more excited when I can see the connection between psychology, evolution, philosophy, of course, education, medicine, but also artwork. I'm a musician also, I'm singing, and I use that in my work also, using the voice. Every once in a while, I'm just entering I'm learning something new. Now it's the saxophone, for example, jazz. And it's connected because I have to stay feeling that I'm vital, and I use it a lot. And actually, the most of the time, the work itself gives me the same excitement. I'm coming into the lesson as I'm learning myself all the time. So I'm not coming to teach someone. I'm facilitating something, but I have to be the one that some things inside himself has to be facilitated while I'm doing that. And if it's not, it's just becoming a mechanical work, and it's not what we're doing, right? So, yeah.
Thank you
That's
very
a great
much.
question. Thanks for having me.
We have given a lot of food for thought for our viewers. And I would like to invite you all to come and join intensives with Eytanem that we organize as RENEDA. I hope that you will be coming for more intensives to Slovakia, to the Czech Republic, to Europe, because your work is so much appreciated and so much needed. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara.